We are live. Welcome everybody to the Pinstripe Chronicles. It is Rob and Donald, and the Yankees had a win last night again, 2-1 over the Oakland Athletics. It was a struggle. It got close there at the end as Clay Holmes gave up a rare run in the ninth inning, but the Yankees were able to come away with the W, thanks in part to J.P. Sears making a spot start. 5 2/3, no runs, 3 hits, a strikeout, and a walk, becoming the third pitcher in Yankee history to throw at least 5 scoreless innings in his first 2 major league starts. Luis Heel did it last year, and slow Joe Doyle did it back in 1906. Bobby Tats would know who that is, of course, because he was
Of
around
course.
for it. So, yeah, Donald, you want to give us your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, Tats was living with uh, Slow Doyle or whatever his name was back in 1906. They were best buddies. They went fishing together in the Long Island Sound. Um, so, yeah, JP Sears, man, it's really amazing. This is just continues this narrative of like guys that just comes in and does their job, and this team unity is really what is really the story here. Everyone steps in. Everyone does their job, apart from Joey Gallo. But it's just really incredible. J.P. Sears, man, like who would have ever imagined that story? The start of the year, where he would come in and pitch, back to back scoreless games whenever he's asked upon. I mean, it's just brilliant. Shuts the A's down. He looked good. He looked really good.
I have to mute my mic because there's some unnecessary knocking going on
Yeah,
downstairs
it's
from
really
me.
loud, guys. Like, check this
So
stuff out.
ex-
I think it's like I'm personally think it's paranormal activity going on. It's paranormal activity 4 or
he's
5,
got the
whichever
sirens
one
going
we
on
are on
outside.
now.
I got knocking. People are coming for us. They hate the Yankee fans. These damn guys keep winning. They're too happy, so they're trying to piss us off. But anyway, yeah, JP Sears yesterday. See, now you're doing it on purpose. JP Sears yesterday. He was great. It was great to see. Yeah, it was Oakland, but the fact that he came up just for one start, goes 5 2/3. I mean, that's all you could ask for. He gave us length. He kept the bullpen pretty well rested. Marinaccio gets an out. Wandy Peralta did his thing, and the Yankees were able to come away, squeak away with the win, but a win is a win. They got the run in the first inning thanks to Trevino. Donaldson gets thrown out in the same play, and then Marwin Gonzalez continues to hit. He continues to show up in games where he gets 3 plate appearances. He goes 2 for 3 yesterday, hits his third homer of the year, and drives in a run. Yankees are finding ways to get everybody to contribute. IKF had a hit and a stolen base. And then there's Gallo. He just he's lost, man. And I tried to defend the guy. And I said on Twitter the other day, the Yankees, they got to move on. They have to move on at this point. They can't keep playing him. It's uh it's a shame because he should have worked out. He should have worked out, especially batting ninth. That should have been the least amount of pressure on him to do something. And for like a week, it was working, and now it's not there. And he was hearing it from the crowd. There's not a lot to boo about with this team right now, but Joey Gallo is getting loud boos every time he comes up to the plate and strikes out. So I know how you feel about it, Donald, but do you think that, first of all, do you think there is some value to what you can get for Joey Gallo, and what teams or team would be the best fit for him?
West Coast. The first name that jumps out would perhaps be the Padres, but I think a West Coast team. I think for sure a National League team would would at least extract some value from. I mean, listen, as I said before, this is one of the rare cases where I don't really have any. I'm not really angry at him, or I'm not really like, even though his numbers are the worst in baseball over that span. I think since he came last year, he's got the lowest batting average, I believe, or the second lowest batting average in all of baseball in that span. He's been just terrible, but I don't hold any like animosity. It's just purely that he can't handle New York. You can just see it. He's trying. He's pressing. He really wants to do well. He's a really good guy. I think he loves being a Yankee. You know, he loves. I think he loves this team. It's just it ain't working, and it's a shame. So I certainly feel bad for the guy, but you know, you also have to do your job, and he's just not really done his job. And to be honest, when earlier when we sent down Andujar, we did an episode where I was personally really upset about that because I think Andujar outperformed Joey Gallo and Aaron Hicks in this short spell as being the left fielder for the Yankees earlier this year, and I didn't like the fact that we sent him down. And Andujar's raking, and yet we've still got Joey Gallo doing nothing at all. So it's a shame. It needs to change. We need to make this move ASAP. I think they've exhausted their patience with Gallo to this point, and clearly they've exhausted the fans' patience because I mean you can't just keep sending someone out there who's going to just go for 3 with 3 strikeouts every single game. It's just it's kind of ridiculous at this point. Like they need to, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Joey Gallo is not going to give you a different result. I'm sorry. He might run into the odd home run, but at this stage, it's done. It's toast. It's over. You need to do whatever you need to do. You need to be looking at trades right now. As we speak, we need to be looking at trades. I mean, we're not going to get anything for him, I'm afraid. It's past that point. But what the least we could do is call up Andujar or Florial. I would say Andujar. I'd take it to the trade deadline and then see which outfielders are available to acquire to upgrade this team. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to harp on the negativity because we won again and we're still the best team in baseball. But it is frustrating having someone who's been this poorly productive.
Yeah, I've said before that I still don't think the trade was a bad one. I know a lot of people want to bring up, well, we gave up 4 prospects, but none of those guys were going to make an impact on the team. You look at Glenn Otto, probably would have been the most likely, but he was a Rule 5 guy, if I'm not mistaken. So he more than likely would have been took in the draft and gone from us. Duran, good player. I'm not saying any of these guys are bad players, but they were all blocked by players on the depth chart of the major league roster and in the farm system. So it's a trade that you should make when you need it. I brought it up before. You needed a bat last year. Joey Gallo checked all the boxes of guys that can hit for power. He was going to get on base. He was going to play good defense. He was going to run the base as well. He's done 2 of those things. He has gotten on base. He has ran the bases pretty well. His defense has been subpar in left, but good in right. But he just hasn't really been hitting, and not even for power. I can live with the bad average if he was hitting 15 home runs at this point. If he had Stanton's production, like in terms of home runs and RBIs, maybe not the RBIs, but home runs at least, I think we'd be a little bit, I guess, forgiving or lenient on Gallo. Be like,
dancing in the streets. Yeah, man. I'd be dancing in Times Square if he goes Stanton's numbers.
This is what he does, right? If he was hitting 190, but with 15, 16 home runs, you're like, okay, that's Joey Gallo. We know what we're getting. But right now, he's got, 9 home runs, a handful of RBIs. He's not doing much of anything. So if you can get something for him, great. At least you got something back. And you really can't get worse production at the plate from a Florial or Andujar because you're getting legitimately nothing from Gallo besides the occasional walk. So Andujar doesn't.
Knicks are in a historic slump right now. They're like for the last 40 or something like that between them combined.
Yeah, it's been pretty rough. I mean, they're gonna have to get a bat. In a perfect world, Andujar comes up and just hits like he did in 2018, and the lineup is more complete. But they still should be searching for a bat because you don't want to play Aaron Hicks every single day. And you do have to keep that DH spot open for Judge to get a day every so often for Stanton. potentially Donaldson, whoever may need a DH. So we know those names are out there. Benintendi and Happ jump off the page of available players that could be had. It wouldn't cost too much. I don't think a price the Yankees wouldn't pay. They wouldn't be asking for a Volpe or Dominguez for Ian Happ. And so I think there's something that can be done. But Gallo, yeah, it's just a project that didn't work when it should have. So maybe the whole some players can't handle New York thing is real. We've seen it before, and maybe Joey Gallo falls into that category, which really sucks. I thought he would have been a heck of a lot better than what he is. Speaking of players who are on the comeback trail that people don't really like, Aroldis Chapman is finishing up his rehab assignment. He pitched yesterday for Scranton, and he is expected to come back today, I think, before first pitch. Sears was sent down after the game last night, so we're getting Aroldis Chapman back. I already know how I feel about this, but I want to hear what you have to say because we didn't have enough time to bring this up.
Yeah, I'm pretty disappointed about this, but I think the Yankees are stuck between a rock and a hard place because they're paying Chapman an exorbitant amount of money at this point to be a middle reliever because he's not a closer, and you sure as hell don't want him to be a setup man. So he's probably more of a mop-up guy at this stage. But the Yankees are gonna once again do what they did with Gallo, and they're gonna exhaust every single possibility to extract as much value out of him as humanly possible to try and at least pay back some of this contract. I didn't agree with this most recent contract that they gave to Chapman. The signs were already there that he was on the decline. I saw it, and I had a feeling it was going to go this way. When I heard that we re-signed him to a new contract, I was like, oh, here we go. Because I just could see it. The writing was on the wall, but the Yankees front office missed it. And he has done nothing since he's re-signed the new contract. I mean, obviously he had that run at the start of last year. We had that super splitter that was working for the first couple months, and we're all, oh my God, he's amazing. But then the old Chapman came back, and then he completely fell apart right through the summer. Yankees couldn't trust him. Yankees didn't know what to do with him. Yankees couldn't have him close games. And, we were hoping that maybe the super splitter might work again at the start of this year, but no, nothing at all. And he's just pretty bad from the start. So I don't know what we're going to do with him because Holmes should be the closer. There is no question about it. Holmes should be the closer. Every single time that we're in a close situation, Holmes should be the closer. But I don't agree with this idea where Boone's gonna mix and match. I think that every team needs to have one established closer. I mean, for sure, Holmes will be getting the most important outs. That is not going to change, but I think they're playing with fire, mixing Chapman into this thing. I mean, it's working fine. The bullpen's working actually pretty damn well. We haven't missed him, not one iota since Chapman went down. So, I mean, Rob, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, you think about the hierarchy of the bullpen, right? Like the Mortal Kombat ladder. Who's at the top? That's Clay Holmes. He's the toughest guy to face in the Yankee bullpen. Then it's Michael King. Marinaccio's right there. Peralta. I'd trust Litke at this point before I trust Chapman. I'd trust Castro before I trust Chapman. All I can hope for is that he's just gets outs, and he needs his fastball, man, because you look at him before he got hurt, everyone was like, oh, his ERA is 0, he's getting saves, but he got bailed out several times in the early stages, and you can only think, what would the Yankees record be right now if Aroldis Chapman was closing games? We probably would have blown a few of these close games. Last night, if Chapman pitches the ninth, he gives up that second and third run, and we probably don't win the game. So that's just been the case with Aroldis Chapman, and his fastball with the loss of velocity, he needs it. I mean, the slider can be good, but he hangs it far too often. We've seen it happen in October. We've seen it happen in September, in August, in July. I mean, he has a knack for running into that near month-long slump where he just can't pitch, and that seemed to happen early this year. Now, can you blame the injury on it? Absolutely. But if he comes back and he's just healthy and able to get you 3 outs in any way possible, fine. That's another arm for Boone to look. And if he's somehow dominant again, then great. Prove me wrong. We only have 1 year left or half a year now of Aroldis Chapman, and I would hope that it's a good one so we don't have to ever see him again. I don't want to see him again on this team, but we know they're not going to just let him go, especially with the money he's owed. I know other teams have done it this year with certain players, but they're not going to let him go. As much as I'd like to see him gone, I just want better production. Just get 3 outs, man. Bet your fastball back because that's what everything else feeds off of. Stop trying to be a finesse pitcher when everyone knows you can touch 102 with ease. I know he's getting older and you lose velocity, but you can still hit 99 pretty easily, and you should be able to get outs with 99. Just stop leaving it right over the plate. His issue is one pitch can go right down the middle and get crushed, or his first pitch goes way over there towards the dugout, and from that point on he's not going to have it. Mm-hmm. And then now with the new rule, you have to let him try to face 3 batters, and who knows what's going to happen. He might get 1 out. He might walk all 3. He might hit somebody. He might hit someone in the crowd. You don't know where his pitches are going. It's rough. But if we can get something close to 2017 Chapman down the stretch here, then it's a win for the Yankees. But that's asking a lot because of how inconsistent he's been. But if he's healthy, just get 3 outs. No matter where you're pitching, get me the 3 outs, and I'll shut up about you.
You're right. It's not a question of stuff. As I mentioned before, the new splitter that he developed last year was filthy when he was locating it. Slider, when you mix that with his slider, when he doesn't hang it, when he locates it, that slider is filthy. When his fastball clears 100 miles per hour, that fastball is pretty damn filthy. Although it's completely straight as an arrow, there's not too much movement about it, and that obviously leads to it being crushed when he doesn't locate it. It's all about location with Chapman. It's not stuff. His problem is he can't locate anything. And what I was noticing pre-injury was he could not locate his fastball. And as Rob rightly points out, bro, everything feeds off his fastball. I mean, to be honest, every pitcher, you need to establish your fastball before you can establish any other pitch. But Chapman is especially in this case. He really struggled to locate his fastball at the start of the year prior to his injury. And then when you don't locate your fastball, all he was doing was just throwing sliders. There was one point I remember there was an outing where all he did was throw sliders. And because he knew that he couldn't throw his fastball for a strike. In fact, strike, my God, he couldn't throw a fastball that wasn't heading towards the crowd. So it's that serious. So listen, if this rehab assignment has managed to help him find the plate, then that would be a start. But the Yankees shouldn't be dicing with death here. I mean, listen, they've not been in any situation where the 8th or 9th inning is really a concern for them right now. So why mess with it? What I would do, I don't know what Rob would agree with. I would not put him in a high leverage situation just right off the bat. So say we've got a closer situation tonight. I don't want him closing. He can put him in the 7th, put him in the 6th inning. I don't really care, but don't put him in the 8th or 9th. Right? He needs to earn that back, right? He can earn that. Prove that you can throw a strike. Prove that you can find the plate. Prove that you can go 1, 2, 3 without giving up numerous runs. Then we can have a conversation. But at the moment, this should be Holmes' job.
You're absolutely right. There's no reason for Chapman to touch a high leverage situation unless the only way I see it happening is if it's a day like because we're playing a day game after a night game today. So Holmes probably isn't available. So you might have to, if Chapman is brought up, but even though he just pitched yesterday, so would they pitch him day one? Who knows? Um, but in a scenario where someone has to have a day off, then you probably go Chapman maybe in the 7th or the 8th. But he should not be touching the 9th inning, especially with a lead that's like a run or two, because we've seen him give up a walk, a base hit, or he hits somebody, and then the next guy takes him deep. I mean, we talk about last year. Remember the game against the Angels? He had a 4-5 run lead and he blew it. And that one game was among many that would have given us the top seed in the wild card. At least we'd have played the wild card game at home. So we've seen him not just this year, but in recent years blow several games with big leads. I don't feel confident putting him in a 1-run game. I just don't. And yeah, he needs to earn it back. And I don't care about the salary. Obviously, the Yankees do. And the Yankees know that he's got the stuff. And there's actually a metric that measures simply pitchers based on their stuff. It's called Stuff Plus. That's actually a metric. And Aroldis Chapman is one of the top 5 pitchers on a team in terms of stuff. It doesn't measure control or anything else. Statistics, nothing. It's just your stuff. So your fastball, the way your slider might move and things like that. Marinaccio is on that list as well. He's a top
You're
5.
kidding, on the top 5?
Yeah. So we know
Garrett Cole number 1?
Garrett Cole, I believe, is number 2 behind Clay Holmes. It's either Holmes and Cole are like 1-2 on the list. I'd have to find the list again, but there is a metric called Stuff Plus. I did not even know this.
But there you go, guys. Watchers and viewers, Rob's just giving us a new stat. I had no idea.
The new metric, Stuff Plus. Yeah, but we know he's got stuff, but his command is so wonky. You don't know what you're getting. There's one game where he can be unhittable. The splitter's just completely fooling guys. The fastball, even if it's not 100, they're whiffing, and the location's great. And he gives you that stare down after strike 3 to end the game. You're like, that's Aroldis Chapman. And then he goes out the next game, and he can't find the zone to save his life, and he gets blasted for 3 runs. And you're like, that's Aroldis Chapman. You can't have that seesaw of a pitcher when you're paying him the money you are, and you're expecting him to get 3 outs. You can't have that, especially in a season like this where every single game they've played with meaning. There has not been a game that they've laid down. Maybe the game against the Astros where they got no hit, they still were at least trying, right? You know, they were trying. They haven't laid down, though. I just don't want to see him come out there and blow a game because it's felt great to be like, we got a lead here in the 9th. We're going to Clay Holmes. He's going to get these outs. And that's what we had when Mo was closing. But even post Rivera, we had that for the year that he was hurt with Rafael Soriano. We had that with David Robertson. And we had that in his first year with us in 2016. We had it in 2017 as well. Yeah. It's just give me 3 outs, Chapman. That's all I ask of you.
Andrew Miller was amazing.
Andrew Miller, yeah. Andrew Miller. When you have a guy that's automatic, you know that any lead in the 9th inning, we're going to get these 3 outs. Even Holmes yesterday, he gives up a run, and then the final batter just hits a lazy ground ball. You're like, okay, so you just had a couple of bad pitches. Chapman gives up that lead. That's just a fact. So we've wasted a lot of breath here on Aroldis Chapman, but hopefully he just gets us 3 outs. The Yankees will have a move to make very soon as well because Domingo Germán is also on the comeback trail, another great person. There's going to have to be another move. I don't know if they stash him in the minor leagues. I mean, unless Abreu's next 2-3 appearances are just so good that you stash Germán, but I don't know if he has options left. So we could be looking at another Banuelo scenario because he was DFA'd yesterday for Sears. When Germán comes back, do they have to let go of Albert Abreu, or do they at that point send down Marinaccio? But I don't think they will because he's been so good.
Send down Marinaccio. Yeah. Oh my God. Rob, what are you doing to me, man? I get up and I'm excited. It's a beautiful day. The sun is shining in Midtown, and you're bringing up Joey Gallo, Aroldis Chapman, And now Domingo Herman, what are you doing to me, brother?
This is
What
my
are you
show
doing?
now. I'm taking over.
What are you doing to me, huh?
Taking over the show. No Bobby Tats. It's my show today. But, I mean, these are the news. This is the news right now. Aside from the Yankees winning ball games, they do have pitchers, mainly bullpen arms, because let's not forget, sometime in July, we're going to get Loizaga back. So what are we going to do? But the most recent guy that's going to come back after Chapman will be, or the next guy is Herman. I mean, I don't want to get too far into the future, but I know he's going to be on this team because he offers you length. He can give you 3 innings if needed. He went 3 1/3 yesterday for the Patriots in Double-A in his rehab assignment. So, there's a spot for him. It's just someone has to go.
No, there's no spot for Herman. Sorry.
There
Keep him where
be.
he is. Our pitching
Probably
is absolutely fine without him. If it gets to the stage where we desperately need a body, then we'll look at it then. But once we get to the trade deadline, I think there will be a reliever that's going to be available on the market for minimum cost. Just do that. I'd do that before I bring in Herman. Not a good guy, not a good person. Don't want him representing the pinstripe. Certainly not in this special year. So let's not discuss Domingo Herman. I can't stand it. But do you know what's really a concern now? I'm cursed. I'm cursed, people. So after the no hit, right? I tuned into the Yankee game yesterday. It was around about the 4th or 5th inning. We didn't get a hit again for the rest of that game. We're on a no-hit parade when I'm watching the ball games right now. And I'm very, very concerned. I need to exercise these demons. So any viewers, help me. What do I need to do? How do I exercise this curse? This is a real serious curse here. Because look at the Yankees record. 18-2 in home games of their last home games. What were the 2 home games I went to? The 2 losses. I'm very, very worried right now. This is extremely concerning. Rob, do you have any suggestions?
Nothing that would be appropriate enough to say over the air.
I'm scared. I don't know what the suggestion is.
Might have to sacrifice an animal or something. I don't know.
What?
I don't know what you're gonna do.
What do you guys do in Florida, man? What do you guys do in Florida?
The Florida man is a real thing.
Leave the animals out. Leave the animals out of it.
I don't know what you're going to do. I said it's not appropriate to say on air. So if you want to exercise these demons and you want to bring a championship back to the Bronx, you might just have to not watch a single game the rest of the year.
Oh, great.
See what?
I'll just watch the box score like Tats.
No, Tats listens to the game. You got give Tats a break. He's got the John Sterling of podcasting has John Sterling in his ear every night.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. This has been an episode without any mistakes, so we know that it isn't Tats today.
Oh, Bobby Tats, we love you. We miss you. We're going to see you again tomorrow. He's got a rare day off. This is weird. No Bobby Tats on the Pinstripe Chronicles. The first time ever. We've been doing this for over 2 years. And first time ever, Bobby Tats, or just about 2 years. He's not here. Enjoy it.
200+ episodes.
He will be back. Bobby Tats will be back tomorrow. We will be back tomorrow.
And he'll be telling us stories of that pitcher, what you brought up from the 1900s.
Oh, yeah, Slow Joe Doyle. He'll know about him. Yeah,
he'll tell us all about him tomorrow.
He watched those first 2 games that he pitched. He was there in the crowd.
So, Rob, please remind me to ask about Slow Joe Doyle tomorrow's episode.
I will certainly do so. Real quick before we sign off here, it is Jameson Taillon versus Cole Irvin in the 105 matinee. The Yankees going for the sweep over the Oakland Athletics. Let's hope we get it, and we can talk about another Yankee W tomorrow. So that is going to do it for us here at the Pinstripe Chronicles. Thank you, everybody, for watching. If you're watching it on Northeast Streaming Sports on Roku, on YouTube, wherever it may be, we thank you so much for watching and hope you tune in again. And as we always say, wear your pinstripes with pride and play hard.
Thanks, people.